Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and a very big update today for the past 24 hours for the Ukraine war for the day of 1188, 26th of May. As you can see, something very major happened in the New York front. So so we'll carry on, but the rest of the frontline updates are all very significant. We're gonna start off with Kharkiv front. This is Kharkiv city over in the Verkhnokamyanske sector. There is a very rare update of frontline over in the Kharkiv front. Over at Taike, the Ukrainian mapping, so this is Taike by the way. The Ukrainian mapping have mapped that the Russian forces has expanded their control in the north of Taike and taking some positions in the forest, which is kind of unusual. We seldom see anything happening around here. There might be a case where the Russians are now going to expand their zone of control all along the border. I mean, this is not an impossibility. So, but we shall see whether this is the case or will they just go down and expand their actual capture of the build-up areas. So we have all this report about Verkhnokamyanske Kotori recently. I wonder if it's related. So the advance is around 1 kilometer. So that is the situation at the Verkhnokamyanske sector of the Kharkiv front. So the next frontline change, we jump all the way to Verkhnokamyanske over in the Lyman front. So this is Lyman city. Over at Verkhnokamyanske in the northern flank of the Lyman front, we have geolocation of Russian forces basically entering into Verkhnokamyanske. This leads to a frontline change, which means that half of Verkhnokamyanske is now under Russian control, and this is pretty significant. And the advance is around 1.5 to 1.7 kilometers deep into Ukrainian territory. There is still the rest of Verkhnokamyanske around here that the Ukrainians are still defending. So this is a very major update as well. This definitely does change the tactical situation further. There is not that many settlements until Oskiu. So there's Kharkivka, Korovia, Rubitsi, Kiska, and then you'll reach Oskiu. So yeah, that is the kind of significance this kind of move is. And then we move on after Verkhnokamyanske. The next frontline change, surprisingly, is at Siversk front. So over at the Siversk, this Siversk city, major news. The Russian forces have captured Verkhnokamyanske based on the latest geolocation. This geolocation happened on the western end of the northern road at Verkhnokamyanske. And with this means that the Russian forces have captured all of Verkhnokamyanske. I think the announcement may be a bit slow. Let me see. Oh, the Russians already announced it. Yeah, the Russians already announced it on the long time ago. This is probably last year, which is kind of a nonsensical. I don't think that's true at all. But we shall see whether this will be reported. The advance from the south is merely 400-500 meters, but from the east is around 1.5 kilometers. So if you look at the mapping alone, you can see there's no other settlements already. The previous geolocation was here, and there is this little bit of smash up logistic industrial area. But if you look at the front line here, unlikely the Ukrainians are going to have position here. I mean, not impossible, but very unlikely, which is why I have declared the capture. But we shall see whether my claim is correct or wrong over time. Then the next frontline change, we jump all the way to the New York front. Over at this area here, the impossible salient, this thing here has starting to collapse. It's starting to shrink. As I mentioned, because of this pressure, this pincer movement, where this gap is only 3 kilometers. So the window to retreat and escape is closing, and we can literally now see on the Ukrainian mapping. This is mapped by the Ukrainian mapping. They have started to retreat from this area here. So all the part east of Zelenopole, and then around Kalinove, and then in this impossible salient west of New York, all of this area has been now firmly go into Russian control. The entire area here is considered by the Ukrainian mapping to be under Russian control. So which means that the Ukrainian forces have started to retreat from this area here, as it's no longer possible to hold position. So if I pull this up a bit so we can see this play out. So as the Russian forces is now threatening to pincer and form an encirclement around this only opening right here. So the Ukrainian forces is now on the run, and entire area, the entire front line has collapsed. And this is a massive collapse. These two chunk alone is already 30 square kilometers, more than 30 square kilometers, by the way. So it 116, 117. So it's a massive collapse of the front line here. So yeah, I mean, this is unavoidable by now, because from the moment the Russian forces go to Zoria, that's always going to be the case. So the next frontline change after this shocking one, this very big one, like this is 5 kilometers deep. This impossible salient, and the advance from Zeleny Pole was like 2.5 kilometers. We go to the western flank. This area here also very big news. If you zoom in, you can see the Russian forces basically have entered into Popivka. So this geolocation shows that the Russian forces have entered and taken at least the western side of Popivka, and another geolocation shows that the Russian forces is now on the verge of attacking into Poltavka. So the front line is moving very quickly. That means the Ukrainians are not really defending much in this region here. So this area is around 2 kilometers, more than 2 kilometers deep, and Popivka is around 1.5 kilometers deep. And the Ukrainians are not defending here, so looks like the Ukrainians are still on the withdrawal and on the retreat. Not sure where they're going to hold the line next. So I thought that they will defend Popivka, but the look of it, they are not really defending that well. So we will continue to see where the Ukrainians going to retreat to. The Russians are on the roll right now. So that's all for the frontline changes. These are all the frontline changes report. We're going to do some calculation. So let's just use this as the background then. So we're going to bring in the calculator. So the Ukrainians did not capture anything. The past 24 hours is still a 0. And the Russians, after 2 days of 10 square kilometers, it looks like we have some averaging again. So 2.48 plus 1.73 plus 2.04 plus 40.77. So it's 47.02 square kilometers captured by the Russian forces. 47.02. So to add a bit more, so if this is 40, and then which means that if we are now estimating that it's going to be 20 square kilometers a day as an average. So there's additional 20, which can share just nice for the past 2 days. That was around 10 square kilometers. So which means that the average right now is still 20 square kilometers of capture per day. So this is looking like the new normal now. We will continue to monitor and see if this is going to keep up. If the Ukrainians continue to lose 20 square kilometers, then clearly their defensive capacity has fallen significantly, and they wouldn't be able to defend effectively, and this will just continue to escalate and get worse and worse because every time they still offer some kind of combat. You see, they still defend, they still try to hold position, which is why it's only 20 square kilometers. But every time they hold a position, they risk the possibility of airstrike, drone strike, artillery strike, and get killed off. And if they continue to get attrition away, then it will lead to even worsen defensive capacity. Then we're going to see there's a daily average going to increase. So anyway, thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe. And so happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And for those that are not subscribed, do subscribe. And another important thing to note is that, like I said about the algorithm change, you may see that the viewership is struggling. So do help to share. I think sharing and get more people to watch may help. If not, if this continue to worsen, then you'll probably see a lot less of me, because I have to find other ways to earn the income. So just to note. And also, of course, you can support me via Patreon. That would be a good way, as people are starting to unsubscribe on Patreon somehow. But it's okay. I mean, that's life. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update.